Hey, what's up, guys? This is Patrick from Patrick's Ping Pong Passion. Um, I'm about to test this Skyline 3 Provincial 40-degree blue sponge rubber for tabletennis11.com, and I will be boosting it ever so slightly. I recently wrote an article on what it means to boost a rubber, what advantages it brings, and why some people are doing it. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you how I have learned to boost Chinese rubbers, such as this Skyline 3 rubber here. So I'll be going through this step by step. It's super simple, and yeah, you can see what you think about this. First off, I'm gonna use my trusty balance here to weigh the rubber before and after applying booster, just to see how much booster I actually put on. So the rubber straight out of the package is 61 grams. Next, I will be applying one thin layer of this Haifu Seaman booster that's available from tabletennis11.com and applying it directly to the sponge. Some people attach or apply a glue layer first. I believe that you get the nicest overall effect if you apply straight on the sponge, but when using blue sponge Chinese rubbers like these ones, they're known to have somewhat softer, weaker adhesion between the top sheet and the sponge, so you don't want to overboost your rubber. The blue sponges in general also are a little bit more dynamic than the orange sponges, so you don't need to boost as much. So I'll start applying one thin layer. There you go. It's been distributed pretty well. And it's going to soak into the sponge, and now what I will do is I will let it dry overnight, so for roughly 8 hours or so, and then I'll start applying glue layers to the sponge. So let's see how it looks. Little streaky up there. I will try to distribute it a little bit better, and we'll weigh the rubber in a second and see how much I've actually applied. I finished distributing the booster, and now let's just reweigh to see how much I added, and you can see 63 grams. Now I believe it was 61 before, so 2 grams of booster. You can see I'm applying very thin layers, 64 now, so I guess 2 to 3 grams. Now I will let the rubber rest, as I said, for 8 hours or so. In my opinion, that gives it the most amount of well, not the most amount, but a nice amount of tension without it curling up completely crazy. And I only apply one layer. To me, it gives a little bit more spin, a little bit more dynamic feeling without it being completely crazy, which is something that I like. I actually like the rubbers being fairly hard. So anyway, 8 hours, and then we'll see how it looks like then. This is just a look after 5 minutes of application. You can really see it. Booster is starting to be absorbed by the sponge. So as so often these days, my plans kind of changed a little bit, and I didn't have time to look at this boosted Skyline until 24 hours later. And as you can see, this baby has taken the small amount of booster exceptionally well. and has resulted in a fairly aggressive, though much more aggressive than I usually observe when boosting a Hurricane 3 blue sponge in a similar manner. Frankly, when it's this domed, I wouldn't even consider doing it. So I'm gonna give it at least overnight, if not 12, 14 hours more before I start assembling this sucker here, which is pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive boosting, as you can see here. So I'll check in around 12 hours from now and see how it goes. Okay, so it's now 36 hours since I applied the booster layer, and the rubber is a little bit more, well, less extreme than it was after the 24-hour mark. So this is the point when it looks like this, still a slight curl, but not a crazy curl. This is the point where I would be starting to glue it up, and the glue that I use is the Revolution number 3 glue, normal viscosity, I believe I use. Yeah, normal viscosity. I like this glue a lot, especially as a tester. I frequently re-glue my rubbers, and with time you need to peel off the glue layer as it becomes too thick, and this glue comes off very easily. The only minor downside is sometimes, especially if you have an extremely boosted rubber, you need multiple layers in order to make it adhere well. This glue you can get from tabletennis11.com. I will now be applying probably 3 layers. That's what I typically do. Yeah, that's gonna be it. So applying first layer now. There you go. You can see first layer is on, and as usual with this water-based glue, you have to wait 10 to 15 minutes until the glue layer is transparent. You can see first glue layer is completely dry. I will now add the second layer. There we go, and letting it dry again to apply third and final layer. There you go. Good enough. Okay, so this is after the second layer has dried, and now I will apply the third and final layer, and then I will put this Skyline 3 rubber onto my regular blade, which is the Tipar Samsonov Force Pro Black Edition. Okay, and next thing I guess will be to see how it plays. I'll let that one dry now, and then layer on the blade. That's it. I'll attach, and that is essentially the process of going from an unboosted rubber to a boosted one. I'm gonna attach, cut, and then try it out. So hope you find this to be useful.